Okay, so we're going to talk about boosting. Boosting is my go-to when it comes to um, marketing or pushing things on Facebook or Instagram. It is definitely my preferred method over ads. Ads are great, but I think they can get complicated. So I just posted something 6 minutes ago on my photography website. It's just so we can boost something. Um, so I do Christmas minis every single year. And so I just picked a date and we're going to boost it so we can get those booked up. So when you click boost, this is the page you'll see, and I'm sure you've accidentally pushed that button before, so you may have seen this, but you may not have pushed through any of these buttons. So in your goal section, you just kind of pick what your goal is. Normally mine is get more website visitors because 9 times out of 10 I'm going to be having people go somewhere else to do something. So even if I was at the Greensboro Fire Department and I was talking about getting further education on fire safety, I would have done this book now or learn more button, and I would have taken them to a link. So the link would have probably led to a fire safety page where they can learn more information. But today, because I'm using my money to boost something, we're going to boost Christmas minis. So my button is going to say book now, and the link is going to take them to the booking page. So when they see this post come on their feed, all they got to do is click the picture or the button at the bottom, and it'll take them directly to the booking site. These are your options: shop now, sign up, call now, or learn more. Call now can be an interesting option. If you have a recruitment officer, a dedicated recruitment officer, call now is a pretty neat feature and you can put their number in. So special ad category, I'm going to walk through that after we walk through the basic step of boosting. Special ad category, especially if you're hiring, is a really neat tool, but also very different from what we're talking about. So this is my absolute favorite part of boosting. It is the audience. So you've got different options, people in your local area, but you're going to want to choose people you choose through targeting. So that little pencil, you can change that, okay? Because again, this whole class is about teaching you how to be more effective, right? So I'm going to show you how to really target a market. Because I'm trying to target families with children for Christmas photos, because that's the photo I selected, I'm going to try and target that age range, and I'm going to try and target that area. So right now I'm putting in the areas around me. So I just did Asheboro plus 25 miles. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop in Greensboro. Be careful when you see those DMAs pop up. So they're a market. They're going to engulf a huge area. But for me, because I want people to come to me for these Christmas photos, I'm going to want to select people in 30 miles around me, or in Greensboro as well. So this is a really interesting and tricky part. This is where you get to be successful or not really successful when it comes to boosting. This detailed targeting. I'm just going to click on browse and show you the breakdown of how specific we can really get. So you've got demographics, interests, and behaviors. Demographics, you can go as far as education. Like right now I'm kind of tooling around in financial. So I could pick technically the top 5% of zip codes in the US. So I'm not going to do that because I'm not an upper echelon photographer, even though my quality's there, I have to say. But I'm more of like that middle ground photographer. So if I did want to put some sort of limitation on financial, I'm just going to go ahead and put like income between 25 and 50%. You've got birthdays, friends of, jobs, relationships. So when I'm boosting things for trying to get new wedding clients, I'm constantly putting newly engaged because people who are engaged are getting married. So I'm only putting my marketing and my money in front of people who will fit my audience. Today I'm looking for parents though. So under parents, I have parents of different ages. So what's great about this is, say you're trying to push out information about Fire Prevention Week and you have a child specific play you're doing, you can target parents of kids that age. Hey, parents who have kids who are 25 years old may not be your target market, but kids who are between the ages of 2 and 15 would, not even 10, would enjoy the show. You're going to target those parents. So that's your boosting is putting money towards overriding the algorithm. But what's really cool is you won't only override the algorithm, you're going to have your information put in front of this specific group of people that you choose. So this gets even, I try and not freak people out with this, but I can even choose like people with certain job titles I want it sent to. So for example, normally I have a lot of teachers, so I'm gonna target teachers. So if I scroll up, you can see all of my demographics are being collected as I go through. And just for hee hee ha ha's, let's put in firefighter. So all my Greensboro firefighters, right? Because they're in my area, my location that I've selected, Pinecroft Sedgefield firefighter. Like if you fall into that demographic and it's on your Facebook page some way, somehow that you've been tagged as that, it's going to go in front of you. But for example, Betty May, who's 86 years old, it's not going to get pushed in front of her, right? Like it can organically get pushed in front of people who aren't in this demographic that I'm selecting. But as for where I want it to go after it overrides the algorithm, I'm selecting that specifically right now. So I'm jumping into interests. So you've got hobbies, like if you've got shopping, beauty, clothing, sports and outdoors. All of this is that metadata, all of that data we've been talking about right now. These are the buckets that are formed out of it, right? So for example, interests, you've got fatherhood, friendship, marriage, motherhood. So I'm looking at motherhood. I'm selecting the people who have been tagged in their data as falling into these buckets. So we're feeding Facebook all of this information, right? But Facebook is taking all of this information and it's allowing us to be able to use it to our advantage for targeted marketing. So this is always really interesting. You can even see and target people who have older devices and OS, right? I think of my dad. My dad refuses to upgrade anything. So if I was trying to reach a target market like my dad, I always select that. I have not personally done that yet, but I think of things like fall prevention education, right? So you might have a group of older adults with older phones or ISOs. You could just target them specifically. For this, you can, if you have non-English speaking groups in your community, you can target lived in a specific area. I know in Greensboro we had groups of refugees. We can go in here and we can target them and pay for money to put it in front of them in their language. So it is incredibly detailed on who you get to select that your messages go in front of. But you have to be intentional about the content you're putting out and the audience you're trying to reach. So my estimated audience is still 400 to 500,000, but I did scoop in a lot of those parents. So And Greensboro is 300,000 people. So I'm just cleaning this up for a second because we're really going to boost it. I didn't mind about the age group. But see how I updated that audience? So now I get to select how much. And what's really great about using boosting is if you are trying to recruit, you're given a budget, right? And so, like, for example, in Greensboro, they always paid for a radio ad. Now, you can't technically measure a specific radio ad, right? With Facebook, you link the actual applying application in, and it'll tell you how many times people clicked on that link and applied. So I can say, hey, Chief Robinson, for example, I spent $200, but I had 386 people click on this link and land on the application. Of the 126 application you got, right? So when they're going through, they say, where did you learn about this job? And if they say Facebook, over 80% of the application, like the applicants, heard about this job through Facebook, right? So it's all measurable. It's really, really cool. It's a neat tool. It's a tool that's underutilized, and it's a tool that not a lot of departments know about. So boom. Once you click boost my ad, it's gonna be put into a review stage, but unless you're doing a specialized ad category like hiring, I've never run into any issues. So what's really cool is if you look at the top of my page, you've got the home, the flag, the little square measure, and then the little announcement horn. That's always going to be your ads. So I'm just showing you right here an old ad that I pushed for weddings, right? So it shows me I spent 54 cents per link click, but I got 2 weddings out of this push. So I spent $100 and I got $6,000 out of 2 weddings because of it. So there's a very high return on investment that's very measurable. I did a very wide push for this one, 18 to 65, but at the bottom, the ad category equals must show that they're engaged. So you can see I ran it for 35 days. It was between January and February. It was pretty much just an outreach saying I had 2 spots left for 2024 for weddings. So again, those 2 spots were filled like that for $100, and the return on investment was crazy high. So when I say return on investment, I know fire departments aren't selling products, right? And law enforcement agencies are not selling physical products, but what they are selling are life-saving messages and or job posts, right? So return on investment is numbers that you can show that are measurable about people actually engaging and listening to the information. I'm just showing you last year's Christmas mini post, how it was successful, and the audience was specific to the audience requests that I had. So but there's that little horn I was telling you about. So if you're ever on your main page and you're trying to get to your ad center quickly, right, you can just click on that little horn at the top of the page. So I'm just gonna funk around a little bit. So what I do want to show you is once you submit an ad, it's kind of hard to change things. It's not like a normal post. On a normal post, you can just go click edit, change photos, update photos, change things however you want to. But once it's an ad is submitted with a link, because it now has a button, it makes things very hard to change, or it gets wonky, and you don't want to lose that button, that learn more or whatever it is, right? These were just a couple options for photos I was looking at. So I go to click save, but you do not have permission to edit this, right? And it's because it's promoted material. So make sure you take your time and you pick the correct content that you want before you actually go to post something. So I want to walk you through what, oh yeah, I'm gonna bump this out for like 3 weeks, because these Christmas minis aren't going to be happening until November. But okay, for a employment ad, right, or a recruitment ad, you're going to want to run that straight through until the closing date of your ad. Or normally I'll stop the ad from being pushed maybe a day or 2 days before the job closes. So alright, I want to show you a recruitment post. So let's do boost to post. It is going to show me existing posts. We're going to pretend that this is a recruitment ad, right? So you made something on Canva and it says Greensboro Fire hiring now, or Apex Police Department hiring now. This is going to, sometimes it gets wonky, like it's going to try and make me make a form, but I don't want a form. I want them to go to the hiring page. If it does this, just refresh, but for now, we're gonna just keep moving, like the button, right? So learn more, and then we would put the link to the actual application, right? The landing page for the application. I don't know why this is being done right now, but for saving time, we're just gonna move on. So this is the real kicker, the special ad category, okay? What changes in the special ad category is your limitations on your audience, right? Because we can't be biased. So we can't select men or women now. We can't focus in on a certain age. What we can do is we can target certain locations. So fire departments hate me because of this, but it's fair in love and war, right? Because we all have the capabilities of doing this, and that's why I'm teaching these classes, is so that Greensboro Fire wasn't the only one doing targeted marketing. This is okay, so this was a market, and did you see how much space that market took up? That's not what we want. We want specialized cities, right? So Greensboro always targeted Asheville, Fayetteville, Raleigh, Wilmington, and we would drop ads, hiring ads on these cities. So we can't do many demographics, right? We can only do interests. But guess what a lot of firefighters are interested in? Landscaping. So landscaping is always a really great interest to really focus in on, like, the firefighter demographic, in a sense, on certain cities, because we're not able to target job titles when it comes to specialized ad categories because of hiring laws and biases. I focus in on landscaping, and it's been incredibly successful. So after that, you'd click boost, and then you'd set it free until the hiring date. But I just wanted to walk through that and show you how it's done. So part of your homework this week is boosting a post. So I want you to go through this with one that you pick. If you have any questions, just shoot me a text. We'll be talking about boosting on our final class day this week. All right.